Schedule of the general elections in India has been announced, and these elections are for the Lok Sabha or the lower house of the Parliament of India. The polls will be held in 7 phases starting the 19th of April, and counting of votes or the results will be out on the 4th of June. So this marks the beginning of the mega electioneering season that will see over 900 million people exercising their franchisee.
India's Election Commission has spoken, unveiling the much-anticipated details for the upcoming elections. On Saturday, March 16, the Election Commission announced that the Lok Sabha elections will unfold in 7 phases, commencing on April 19. 21 states will cast their votes for Lok Sabha candidates in the inaugural phase on April 19, and results will be announced on June 4.
We'll do it in 7 phases, as was done last time. 7 phases. Phase 1 will start from 20th March notification, 5 days from now. And last date of withdrawal would be 30th March and date of poll would be 19th of April. 7th phase notification will be on 7th of May and polling on 1st of June. Date of counting in the entire country would be 4th of June for all by-elections, for the assembly elections, for the parliamentary elections.
96.8 crore citizens have registered themselves to vote for the general election. The first-time voters count to over 1.8 crore. The number of centenarian voters is pegged at 2.18 lakh. For the seamless voting experience, 10.5 lakh polling booths are being set up for voters. More than 1.5 crore officials will be deployed to provide seamless operations at the centers. Over 55 lakh EVMs will be used to conduct elections this year.
Mainly 4 challenges हमारे पास हैं, 4 M's: muscle, money, misinformation and MCC violations. Essentially 4 किस्म के broad जो हमारे process हैं, और इसी के संदर्भ में पूरा जो process अब आज से शुरू होगा और जब तक चुनाव खत्म होगा तो इलेक्शन कमीशन का अधिकांश समय इन्हीं 4 चीजों में लगने वाला है.
In addition, assembly elections in Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Andhra Pradesh will unfold on April 19 and May 13, while Odisha will witness polling in 4 phases from May 13 to June 1st. After this announcement, political parties have welcomed the schedule. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the BJP NDA are fully prepared for elections and they are going to the people on the basis of their track record of good governance and service delivery across sectors. As dates are announced, the Model Code of Conduct has also come into force that political parties have strictly adhered to. With growth in every voter category, the upcoming polls to elect the 18th Lok Sabha is a promise to be a testament to India's democratic spirit.
The 7-phase general election will see 2 rounds in the month of April, 4 in the month of May and 1 in June, with the big judgment day on the 4th of June. The great Indian election is all set to make every political party sweat in the hot summers in India. With my colleague Rishi Kumar and video journalist Pramod Negi, this is Anil Thomas for DD India from New Delhi.
So with the announcement of the general election schedule by the Election Commission of India, the Model Code of Conduct has also come into effect. The code plays a crucial role in ensuring free and fair polls across India. Our next report has more details for you.
In order to ensure free and fair elections, it is imperative that a set of guidelines to regulate the candidates and political parties is put in place. In India, these norms are called the Model Code of Conduct or the MCC. These guidelines are issued and enforced by the Election Commission of India. To put it simply, MCC is a list of do's and don'ts for the candidates, which they are expected to follow during the election process. It comes into effect from the day the Election Commission of India announces the poll schedule and is operational till the elections are concluded. During the general elections, the code is applicable throughout India. Let's now take a quick look at the key MCC guidelines. The ruling party should not use its official position for campaigning purposes. Parties and candidates should abstain from activities and delivering speeches that may create communal hatred. They should refrain from corrupt practices like bribing, intimidating and transporting voters. The MCC is not legally binding, but The Election Commission of India sends a show-cause notice to candidates if they violate the code. The poll body goes ahead with the necessary proceedings if the candidate fails to reply within the specified time frame. Citizens can also report violations of the Model Code of Conduct by the candidates. To make this process easier, the ECI launched the Sea Vigil app in 2018. A person can simply click a picture or take a video and briefly describe the complaint before uploading it on the app. The complainant also has the option to remain anonymous. The Sea Vigil app is also a reflection of how the MCC has evolved over the times. The MCC guidelines trace their origins to 7 decades back when in 1960 the political parties in Kerala adopted a code during the state polls. With the enforcement of the Model Code of Conduct, the Election Commission of India has been ensuring a level playing field for smaller parties and independent candidates by helping to keep money and muscle power in check. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now I'm joined by DD India correspondent Dibyendu Monil from the newsroom. Dibyendu, good afternoon. Now that the election dates are out, what are the agendas and issues which the ruling party and the opposition are currently flaring upon, and that could also reflect on their upcoming manifestos, Dibyendu?
Deepika, of course, the elections have been declared. The EC have held the press conference and declared the elections to the Lok Sabha, which is the lower house of the Indian Parliament, beginning the 19th of April. But of course, there are multiple political parties that are in the fray this time around. The BJP, of course, the ruling party, as well as the principal opposition party, the Congress, will fight it out at the Hastings in the Lok Sabha elections 2024. But of course, let us talk about the issues that both the BJP and the Congress will fight it at the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. The BJP, of course, is going on the developmental agenda, which the party which has been in power for the last 10 years are hoping that the people will be voting them again for the third time on the developmental planks that the party had done in the last 10 years, which includes the BJP will be focusing on the multiple schemes that the government had launched over the last 10 years, which includes connecting to the grassroots and helping the grassroots people, the marginalized section of the people of India, including the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, the Pradhan Mantri's LPG connection, also the health scheme that the government had launched, which is the Ayushman Bharat, and several other such schemes that have been launched by the government over the last 10 years will be the prime focus of the government. And of course, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Viksit Bharat, which is a developed country by 2047, will be in focus when the BJP goes on to campaign during the election time. Having said this, the opposition will of course try to attack the government on multiple issues, which includes, the opposition will try to rake up the issue of unemployment. The opposition would also perhaps try to rake up issues of corruption, as well as multiple other issues pertaining to the government over the last 10 years. So these two key parties will fight it out in the elections of 2024 on these primary issues. But also this time around, there are multiple regional parties that are contesting elections like every year, like every general elections, and they will have their own issues. For example, the Trinamool Congress will try to corner the government, the BJP in the state of West Bengal, on issues of unfulfilled promises which the Trinamool Congress claims. There are other regional parties in Uttar Pradesh, in Tamil Nadu, and various other states of India which will try to corner the BJP, which is in power for the last 10 years on multiple issues that will come into fore once the parties hit the ground with the campaigning, which will begin anytime soon.
Right. The youth has got a very important role to play over here. We've already witnessing many campaigns to promote and urge the youth to come out in large numbers and exercise their franchisee. Last time, if we talk about 67% voter turnout was witnessed in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. This time, however, many campaignings are already mushrooming across different parts of the country. Are we expecting a larger voter turnout this time?
Well, the EC is trying to ensure that more and more people come out to cast their vote in the 2024 elections. And, there are more than 20 crore voters who are between the age of 18 to 29 who will be casting their vote, amongst which about 1.8 crore first-time voters will also be casting their vote this time around. So the EC is trying to ensure that, most of the youngsters who have enrolled themselves as voters for the first time come out and cast their ballot. The EC has also launched a campaign called Get Inked. So, these some of the measures even the government had taken before the polls was declared to bring out more and more youth to the polling booth to ensure that they cast their vote during the general election. And of course, a long-time campaign will also be carried on by the Election Commission of India to ensure that youth voters and more number of voters come out to vote. Yesterday, during the press conference, you saw Rajiv Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner of India, appealing to the people of India to come out and cast their vote, because this is a democracy, and have urged people to have in fact requested and urged people to come out and take part in the largest and the biggest festival of democracy, that is India. So of course, we are expecting that the voter turnout could be about 70 to 71% this time around. But of course, we'll have to wait and watch when the election starts happening in different states on the beginning the 19th of April.
All right. Thank you so much, Dibendra, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the polls, on the voting of the largest democracy of the world. Moving on, Indian political party BJP's Overseas Friends of United Kingdom organised a spirited car rally in London. The rally was dedicated to showcasing their support for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the political party BJP in the upcoming general elections in India. The rally commenced from Kutch Lever Patidar Samaj complex in Northolt and culminated at the Swaminarayan BAPS temple in Wembley. Also taking part in the rally, UK parliamentarian and Padma Shri recipient Bob Blackman addressed the members of Indian diaspora after the car rally that culminated at the BAPS Swaminarayan temple in London.
The Indian elections are a massive election. It is the biggest exercise of democracy anywhere in the world. And I have a little prediction for you. Only there's one. That is majority with 400 plus. Play a big part in making sure that Narendra Modi is still Prime Minister, and indeed BJP still run the government. Now, not only do we have a wonderful government in India, but we have a wonderful Prime Minister who's Indian.
In a daring display of prowess, Indian Navy executed a meticulously planned operation in the Arabian Sea, culminating in the surrender of 35 pirates and the safe rescue of 17 crew members from a distressed vessel. The operation, spearheaded by the Indian warship INS Kolkata, unfolded over 40 intense hours, showcasing Navy's unwavering commitment to maritime security and humanitarian rescue missions. The Indian Navy warship had carried out the interception of the pirate ship Ruin almost 2,600 kilometers from the Indian coast and forced the pirate ship to stop through calibrated actions which were augmented by INS Subhadra, Hale RPA, P-8I maritime patrol aircraft and Marcos Prahars airdropped by C-17 aircraft. This coordinated effort ensured the swift and safe evacuation of the distressed vessel's crew, leaving no room for error or compromise. By swiftly neutralizing the pirate threat and ensuring the safety of those aboard the distressed vessel, the Indian Navy reaffirmed its status as a formidable guardian of the seas. Indian Army contingent departed for Seychelles to participate in the 10th edition of joint military exercise called L'Amitié 2024 today. The exercise to take place between the Indian Army and Seychelles Defence Forces. The joint exercise will be conducted at Seychelles from the 18th till the 27th of March 2024. The exercise has been concluded in Seychelles since 2001. 45 personnel, each from Gorkha Rifles of the Indian Army and Seychelles Defence Forces, will participate in the exercise. The aim of the exercise is to enhance interoperability in sub-conventional operations in semi-urban environment under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter on Peacekeeping Operations. It will also enhance cooperation and interoperability between both the sides during peacekeeping operations. It will also build and promote bilateral military relations and adding to exchanging skills, experiences and good practices between both the armies. In continuation with the centennial celebration of Admiral R.L. Pereira, PVCM, AVSM 1923 to 1993, the Indian Navy and St. Joseph's School in Darjeeling jointly conducted commemorative events at the school campus on 15th of March. Admiral Pereira, fondly known as Ronnie P., rose to become the 9th Chief of the Naval Staff in 1979. He is also an alumnus of the school between 1932 to 37. The school celebrated Admiral's memory of conducting football tournament and essay writing competition. On this occasion, the Indian Navy also instituted a rolling sports trophy and scholarship in memory of the Admiral by presenting a cheque of 2.5 lakh rupees to the school. The visiting officers and the faculty also planted a tree in memory of Admiral R.L. Pereira. Father Stanley Verghese, principal and rector of the school, felicitated the visiting naval officers. We are moving for a short break on DD India Live, but still to come. Second aid shipment for Gaza all set to sail from Cyprus. Another volcanic eruption in Iceland affects 4,000 residents as of now. And Royal Challengers Bangalore enter Women's Premier League Grand Finale, all set to take on Delhi Capitals today.
The World Wildlife Organization tells us that over 3 billion people across the globe rely on seafood. There are efforts being made to preserve our marine ecosystem. So let's dive right in.
The course of the river was getting shrinked in the upstream areas. And when there is no freshwater flow, the river Ichamuti only survives in the downstream areas, and it has become, in our terminology, we call it a tidal inlet.
Habitat from so many places in the world, and people didn't even know that it had happened.
Mussels that live at the bottom of the lake have this large effect on the biology of the entire lake.
So this is the poster that we provide to people on our fish walks. So they can just look at this and identify which are the fish in season, and when we give them the test to go out and identify sustainable fish.
It's worrying because rising temperatures cause the water to expand, and with it, the sea level to rise.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live with me, Deepika. Well, 26-year-old Anthony Gordon, the man accused of killing 3 people in Falls Township, Pennsylvania, Saturday morning, is in custody. After evading law enforcement for hours as police mobilized across 2 states, shutting down a parade and an amusement park and ordering some residents to stay in their homes. Police officers say the suspect will remain in custody in New Jersey before being extradited to Pennsylvania. Spewing smoke and bright orange lava into the air in sharp contrast against the dark night, visuals of a volcano that erupted in Iceland on Saturday for the 4th time since December are coming up. A video shot from a helicopter showed fountains of molten rock soaring from a long fissure in the ground and lava spreading rapidly to each side. Authorities had warned for weeks that an eruption was imminent on the Reykjanes Peninsula just south of Iceland's capital. Sandy and dusty weather hit Taiyuan city of North China's Shaanxi province on Saturday, reducing visibility and causing poor air quality. The city's weather authorities have issued a blue alert on the region, forecasting sandy and dusty weather to persist for a few more days. Meanwhile, Shaanxi's Weather Observatory Department predicted strong wind and cool weather after the dusty. weather. A second aid ship loaded with food and other supplies for Gaza was ready to sail off soon after the first vessel successfully delivered humanitarian resources. The second ship, with 240 tons of aid, was moored at Larnaca port awaiting a signal to sail. US-based charity World Central Kitchen, that arranged the mission with the UAE, and Spanish charity Open Arms, with support from the Cypriot government, said the new shipment including pallets of canned goods and bulk products. WCK said the second port also had 2 forklifts and a crane to assist with future maritime deliveries to Gaza. A cruise ship would accompany the cargo boat with 8 workers to operate the machinery and offload the aid as well. Almost 200 tons of food arrived in the enclave late on Friday, the first shipment in a new aid route to the Gaza. In the first mission, the charity offloaded aid onto a makeshift jetty WCK built from the rubble of destroyed buildings. Meanwhile, a World Central Kitchen staff member posted a video showing the last pallets of aid being unloaded off the first Gaza aid supply ship early on Sunday morning. 200 tons of food was delivered in northern Gaza on Friday night as humanitarian aid.
There it is, the last 2 pallets of food getting loaded onto the last truck. Behind me, off of the barge, is the Open Arms boat back there. 200 tons of food delivered here in northern Gaza. It's going to go up to Gaza City.
And Sunday is the final day of Russian presidential election, in which incumbent Vladimir Putin is expected to secure yet another term in office. Moscow accuses the West of encouraging extremism at the presidential election in Russia, as over 20 regions detained people attempting to pour dye into ballot boxes or set polling stations on fire. Dasha Chernyshyova has more about the voting on the second day.
Turnout in Russian presidential election on the second day of the voting reached 55%, according to the Central Election Commission. Authorities say they recorded thousands of attacks against the election cyber infrastructure, as well as the websites of the state services and the ruling United Russia Party. Several attempts to interfere with the election process have also been recorded, including attempts to put dye into the ballot boxes. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said that the Western countries are encouraging individuals to extremism at polling stations. In the meantime, Ukrainian shelling in the southern Russian city of Belgrade killed 2 people. A drone attack caused fire at a Russian oil refinery in the Samara region. And Russian Ministry of Defense said it thwarted yet another attempt by the Ukrainian armed forces to cross the Russian border. Moscow says the purpose of strikes on Belgrade was to disrupt the course of voting in the Russian presidential election. But authorities in Belgrade say the turnout is nevertheless over 70% already. Dasha Chernyshyova reporting in Moscow for DD India.
The Russian Defense Ministry released a video showing military personnel casting their ballots during early voting for the country's next president on Wednesday. The military personnel of the 29th Guards Combined Arms Army of the Vostok group of troops that took part in the rare areas of the Special Military Operations Zone. The voting was organized at mobile polling stations in the rare areas of the Special Military Operation in full compliance with the requirements of the law. Russia accused Ukraine of using terrorist activities to try to disrupt its presidential election on Saturday. Former President Dmitry Medvedev criticized protesters for setting fire to voting booths and pouring dye into ballot boxes as well. The Russian Foreign Ministry reported that Kyiv intensified its terrorist activities during the election and requested more financial assistance and lethal weapons. The head of the Electoral Commission, Ella Pamfilova, said that in the first 2 days of voting, there had been 20 incidents of people trying to destroy voting sheets by pouring various liquids into ballot boxes, as well as 8 cases of attempted arson and smoke bomb as well. Medvedev warned those responsible could face treason sentences of 20 years. On to sports. In form, Delhi Capitals will take on Royal Challengers Bangalore in the final match of the Women's Premier League on Sunday evening. Now, it could have been a repeat of last year's final, with Delhi Capitals once again taking on Mumbai Indians, but Smriti Mandhana-led Royal Challengers Bangalore pulled off a heist and snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in the eliminator against Mumbai Indians on Friday. Mandhana's Royal Challengers Bangalore will face McLenning's Delhi Capitals at the jam-packed Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi at 7:30 p.m. according to Indian Standard Time. Now, whosoever lifts the 2024 Women Premier League trophy will end the long-awaited title drought for both the franchisees. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika Mehtu, and from all of us here in Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.